She's been on there, you know. She said, "Look at looking at it. How am I going to know?"
Yeah.
Well,
Who can you ask?
what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about your website.
Sure.
And I don't know that you got, I mean, you get a huge amount of people that get on here, but not everybody knows. I wasn't even aware of it at the time. So there's so many other people that could benefit from this thing that, and I was just going to let you tell me whatever made you think to do this.
Well, I kept thinking back in the, I don't know, for years and years and years, I'd go to the lake to go fishing, and there'd be a tournament going on, and I'd think, what if I only knew about it?
Yeah.
And there was no way you had to hit every marina every week, and even then you couldn't keep track of them. So I decided I'd make a list of them and compile it, and I thought, well, it'd be nice if I could put it on the internet, and I didn't have a clue how to do it. And I found out that you can do a simple website. Simply, you know, it's easy to do one. It's not very complex. So I did it, and almost immediately I started getting responses, and I started getting responses from people outside of Texas. I was just looking at Texas, so I expanded it to include Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. The next thing I know, Florida, and all over the country. So in about 5 years, I went from just East Texas to nationwide. And interestingly enough, currently, as of right now, we had 50,000 hits last month.
Yeah.
And that's more than I had the first 3 years.
Yeah.
It's getting up close to 2,000 a day, which
That's unbelievable.
I'm just dumbfounded and amazed. But anyway, people were sending me things they wanted listed. And then I started getting a lot of questions. Well, what's going on in my area? And I thought, and I'd write them back, and I say, I don't really know.
Yeah.
So I decided I'd start trying to find out. So I started doing web searches for, bass tournaments in East Texas or bass tournaments in Texas, and you found a lot of them that way. And I started listing them, and it's kind of grown exponentially to where. I got, interestingly enough, I got a request this morning to list some tournaments, and obviously they had looked at the website because I'd already listed them 2 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
They were already on the website.
Huh.
But I get requests all over the country every day, literally.
I can believe it. Well, it's really neat to go through them. I mean, I may.
Yeah, that's
the back. I guess
that's January of the South Central region, which is Texas.
Right, yeah. But it is so handy if you're really, like you say.
What you do is the whole thing is, you want to go fishing next weekend, you don't know where to go. So you come in and you go to that particular date, and under that date, you get everything that I've got listed.
Yeah.
And you've got not only the lake and the tournament name, but every tournament has got a link to that tournament sponsor's website.
Yeah.
So if you want to find out more about it, just click on it and it zips right over there.
Well, there's so many people that know you, but they don't really know that this is you.
That's very true.
I've had this week. I had a guy call me, and we got to talking, and I got to tell him about it. And he says, "That's Bob's." It's like, yeah, it is. But I didn't know it because when I got a hold of you, I had no idea you had this going. I didn't know about the seat that you created that's patented, and it's just unreal. It's just a really handy tool for anybody that's looking for a tournament. But I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. But you never know how stuff gets started. I don't know if I told you how I got into this. Did I ever tell you about that?
Yes, you did. I don't remember.
I was fishing a kicks tournament, and I got to talking to one of the salespeople in there, and I had, back in those days, they had the AID maps, and they didn't. Everybody complained for years about AID, but it took me a long time to come to grips at, with what they were. There really weren't maps. They were selling advertising, and people kind of, like me, I actually thought the same thing as a lot of folks, but. Well, anyway, I had compiled all this stuff. I was doing surveying, that sort of stuff, and we started doing fishing pines, and I got all kinds of USGS maps and that sort of stuff. Just started making little overlays. Ended up making a little map out of Mylar, and we'd make diazo prints, And so we got to talking to that guy at Kicks, and he said, "Well, we might be interested in making that part of the tournament, And so back then I was scared to death of doing anything, worried about lawsuits and all that, and there it is. There's a lot of liability involved in any of it, but I blew it off. And a month went by, and I was digging a French drain in my backyard over in White Oak, and I was using post hole diggers, and it was in red clay, and it was about waist deep, and it was about 200 feet in that red clay. And my dad come over, and I'd already gone up the hill and was back, just about to turn around the back side of the house. He says, "Boy, you are going to wear out my metal post hole diggers." And so, why don't you go down there and get you one of them ditch digging witches? I was almost through, but I said, "Okay, yeah, I'll go get one. Just makes me happy, And that's really all it was. And I went over and got down there and started digging in that dirt, and I'm like 12 foot off the back of my house in White Oak, And I had that sucker run up, and then got it stuck right off the bat, because the water was so wet back there, and that's why I needed the French drain. Anyway, got it unstuck, and then got to going, and about that time, my wife was over there, right beside me, Janie, and all of a sudden it went. Whoosh! I hit a 3.5-inch plastic gas line in the backyard, and there was a 6-inch steel gas line right next to it. I didn't hit it. Right. Well, when I heard that, I knew immediately what it was, and I let go of the handlebars, and it had an automatic kill switch on that thing, and it died right there, and I yelled, "Gas, run," to her. Yeah. And I took off and went in the house, got the kids out of the house, and got them across the street, and I'm looking around for her. Well, she's in the house looking for the kids, and it's like... Yeah. So anyway, I don't know how many emergency vehicles they have in East Texas, but they were in that backyard that evening, and anyway, after everybody left, we got to look at it, and I thought, if there's something you really want to do, now is kind of an excellent time to do it, and you shouldn't worry about anything. I mean, it's just like, you got one chance at this half the time, and anyway, that's actually how I got started in the map business.
Decided it was time to do it.
Well, I don't know if that was a smart idea or not, but there's a lot of stupid things I've done before, and my wife usually reminds me of them.
But that's her job.
She does it well. So anyway, I just want to talk about your website a little bit about, and really didn't mean to get off into that, but weather for next week or this week. Right. And we're on Thursdays where we're at right here, and so we got look a pretty good day, Yeah,
that's the best day in the past month in terms of the weather on a tournament day.
Yeah. Now I've been looking at the temperature, nightly temperature. I haven't seen 50-degree 5 days in a row yet. So it may be next month for we.
Well, they're 3 and 3 lined up.
Well, I've seen like that 3, but I don't know that I've seen. You still 5 is what supposedly the goal is. So anyway, that's what it looks like. You're going to have decent weather Thursday and just a little bit of cloud cover and possibly some rain, but and wind's not bad at all. But anyway, I just pulled up last week. You had during the LFA. We're not covering this, but move that down where they see that LFA. Well, you come out pretty good. Come in second there, So one fish. But look, I mean, well, that's it's pretty outstanding. Actually, this is not bad either. Here's one caught 2 right here.
This is the first time we were commenting on this. How normally the boaters catch all the fish, and this week the co-anglers caught all the fish. Those whoops. So apparently the setting in the back and not fighting the wind worked to their benefit. Yeah, because they caught a lot more fish than the boaters did.
Did pretty good.
Yeah.
So y'all were fighting the wind. Is that part of the big problem of it?
That was part of it, but the main thing was we had so many clothes on that you couldn't move. Hey, it started off at 34 and finally warmed up to 40 by 3 o'clock.
Oh, goodness.
The weatherman said it's supposed to hit 50, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It was cold.
Man.
Blowing out of the northeast right in on us. So,
where were you fishing during this tournament?
I was fishing go under the 154 bridge and immediately back to the left. Hit that bank in about the first quarter of a mile of the bank. I had been catching fish.
Yeah.
And that's where we went, and I caught that one fish at about 8 o'clock, and I thought, we're on to something. And it didn't happen.
Yeah. Now, this week, where are you going to be pre-fishing?
Well, this week we're fishing section 2.
Right, middle section.
And if you draw a line from the spillway
to there,
and then the 515 West Bridge. So we're fishing in here.
Right.
And I suspect Wednesday's the only day I've got to pre-fish. And I've got mixed feelings. I suspect I'll end up in Little Caney, back up in the back of Little Caney, because there ought to be some grass back there. I did well in there this time last year. Yeah.
The far back, you think?
The far back, yeah. Starting from where the road crosses.
Yeah, there's the road right there. You can just barely see it, but it's down in here.
From there on back.
On back. Yeah.
So, but I may, on pre-fishing Friday, I may go someplace completely different.
Right.
And probably will. There's no point in going in there because I pretty well know where I'll fish. So, I may go visit Galen Smith, fearless leader. He likes to fish.
Back up in.
What is it?
That's Dale Creek.
No,
Ray Branch.
Ray Branch. That's it.
Okay.
He likes Ray Branch.
He likes Ray.
Yeah, and he does well in Ray Branch. He hasn't here lately. He's been this winter. He's decided he's going to learn how to fish a jig. So he has committed to that. That's what he's doing. It's fishing jigs.
Jig fishing.
Nothing else, and that's new to him.
Okay.
And he's catching a few fish doing it. So
that's good.
He's learning how to do it.
Huh.
But he normally throws a black and blue Lake Fork tackle. What do they call it? It's about an 8-inch worm. No, it's an 8-inch worm that's got the sections in it. They've got a specific name.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, throwing that on a Texas rig, and he dips the tail in chartreuse.
Okay. Yeah.
And he catches a bunch of fish back there.
That's good. So does he go the very far back usually, or is he?
No, he works
midway.
He works midway.
Yeah, back up in there.
And he fishes shallow. Throws up right on the bank and pulls it out, catches fish.
Huh. Okay.
So that's probably where I'll go to pre-fish, just to look around and keep him honest too.
Do you ever go up into Indian?
No, honestly, I don't.
Right up in there.
Mm-hmm.
They got this little area right in here, and then there's supposedly along this bank right in here where you come up in there. David Kelly's had some good luck right in that little cut right there where that comes up. I think it's this time of year too. I know it is this here's this time of year, and I believe this is as well along up in here. From there's a line of trees that come down through here. From what he's saying.
Okay.
I've never fished it, but what he normally would do is hit this little cut right here and then work his way back. Yeah. Hey,
that might be something. That's better than even Ray Branch, because that's the place I fished it back at stage 2, and I remember fishing out here when there was no water back there, and looking back up in there thinking, boy, that looks good, because it had a real deep channel.
Right.
That went way back there.
He's using a rattle trap during this time of year too.
Okay.
So I was kind of thinking that might match what you're doing, but
like I said, I've never been in there, but now's a good time to go. So,
well, it's a real popular area.
I'll give you a report.
Well, I'll be there Friday, and you can give it to me firsthand. So,
hey, we can go back in there.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, so I am looking forward to that. I haven't been actually fishing in a long time.
Here you go. It's on.